Thank you so much, Center for Global and Strategic Studies and Department of International Relations, for providing me with this opportunity to express my opinion here. I am going to talk about the incident from Pulwama to Indian revocation of Article 370 in Indian Kashmir, policy implications on the geopolitics of South Asia. Ever since India and Pakistan entered into conflict that commenced with Pulwama attacks, the following incidents have grabbed the geopolitical situation of South Asia into odds. The Kashmir issue is a conventional issue between Pakistan and India since independence, but due to linguistic opinion, news analysis, and perceptive political figures, the issue is overshadowed and grabbed into rhetoric supported by aggressive claims and by its connotations. At present, the Kashmir issue has been treated in the same fashion instead of understanding the issue from a systematic perspective. The policymakers, military establishment, regional and international media are debating with possible repercussions of a devastating nuclear breakout in the region. This study entails different scenarios that are through a series of domestic pressures that followed the Pulwama incidents, showing a spilling effect in the South Asian region. While understanding the parameters of the theory of security dilemma, mostly reflected through interstate relation, it draws attention to an arena where security dilemma is examined through domestic politics and how it has driven responsible factors from bringing South Asia to a dangerous situation. This will also indirectly help in understanding the behavior of local political parties, thus destabilize the regional peace, such as it happened in South Asia. Here then contemplates recommendation for Pakistani policymakers for multi-level diplomacy, activating diasporas at the international level, and consistent media coverage over the Kashmir issue. Here we have some questions. What factors lead to the highest level of security dilemma between India and Pakistan? Second, is security dilemma cause geopolitical complexity for South Asia? What policy options lie with Pakistan to fight for Kashmir after revocation of Article 370? So the first, factors responsible for security dilemma between Pakistan and India. When security dilemma is examined in terms of its impact, it has to be examined how it transforms into a security paradox, particularly in the context of India and Pakistan. The term security paradox is a situation in which two or more actors seeking only to improve their own security provoke their words or action further increase mutual tension, resulting in less security all around. Therefore, words and expression by the political leaders and false impression created in speeches further lead to a point where the desire for more security actually decreases security. While examining the Pulwama attacks, this indicates that the concept could be applied to explore factors that were into play during the Pulwama attacks that have continued till now. In the immediate reaction to each other, both sides in a very short time reached up to the possibility of full-fledged conventional war after the Indian air strikes in Balakot, followed by an unexpected chain of events. Pakistan has followed a policy of defensive nature in response to Indian belligerence. Contrary to this, Prime Minister Modi pursued a war-mongering policy and kept on making loud announcements for retaliatory strikes. The recent standoff, spanning over the longest spell of tension between India and Pakistan, certain domestic factors are examined to investigate India's hegemonic pretense and aggressive behavior that have led the region into a fear of nuclear conflict, leading cause for the region as security dilemma. Modi, the war Prime Minister. In order to understand Indian move towards the removal of special status of Indian Kashmir, it is seen that India has once again moved back to the concept of post-colonialism and nationalism. Indian government under the Modi, while pursuing an aggressive policy in his first term, conducted various human rights violations that led to the revocation of Article 370 in the beginning of his second term. To prevent Kashmiris from raising their voices against the brutal step, Modi government arrested the political leaders, closed down the educational institute out of fear of Kashmiri youth, who have been instrumental in moving the independence movement ahead. This is in reverse with the so-called diplomatic principles which the Indian government claims, or at least is known for diplomatically. Modi government passed a law for weeding out the Muslim minorities as discussed by our seniors here. Modi government is now exposed before the world for following the sole agenda is to rule the minorities and promote a perceptive side of India instead of the aim of boosting Indian economy. The priority is to control the minorities. The BJP leaders invoked a sense of nationalism and national security over economy in their speeches. The slowdown in economic growth could still have emerged as a possible flashpoint during the election, but the February suicide attack on Indian parliamentary forces in Pulwama and the government's subsequent response, which included ordering airstrikes in Pakistan, helped Modi for support. War of perception and propaganda, as the topic today is focused on, of all the factors and determinants related to war, media's linguistic role cannot be overruled. Modi played the anti-Pakistan sentiment, and Indian media promoted his narrative that helped him win an unprecedented public support. The war of perception and propaganda has always been a vital instrument of enhancing, projecting, exercising national power. The Indian electronic media also opted for competitive beating of the war drums, even calling anti-national to those who are working for the peace between India and Pakistan. Now, the revocation of Article 370 and its impact on the geopolitics of South Asia. The regional and global actors recognize the geographic location of Kashmir from strategic point of view. Geographical location of Kashmir is not only a security dilemma for Pakistan and India, but it is also important for China and Central Asia. India's decision to revoke Jammu and Kashmir's special status causes security dilemma between Pakistan and India and is likely to further complicate their relation. Recent geopolitical situation in South Asia, that is withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan, alarmed New Delhi that once US withdraw, then and there is a possibility if Taliban returns to Kabul, their attention would get towards Indian fascist tactics in Jammu and Kashmir. The US withdrawal will create a power vacuum in South Asian region. Simultaneously, India's engagement on its west front might encourage it to neglect its effort to reorient eastward to confront the greater challenge of a more powerful and assertive China. The US would like to see India shift its military and foreign policy priority away from its western border to fulfill its Act East policies. To conclude, a combination of these factors, along with triggering events, can produce change in Indian security policy during the uncertain period ahead. With the BJP winning, the deterrence instability, and nuclear weapons in South Asia, 2014 general election, and subsequently consolidating itself through a string of victories in important state assembly elections, there are no domestic political impediments to the parties adopting a more assertive stance on issues that they consider important. Pakistan, after scrapping the Article 370, has downgraded its diplomatic relations with India. In this changing geopolitical scenario, it seemed that India is under pressure, that once US withdraws from the region, Pakistan with the support of China would lead. Pakistan needs to gear up its diplomatic effort that it has taken up at the last UN General Assembly meeting. Mr. Modi may think he can control this volatile conflict on his own, though he almost certainly not. Due to these efforts, China stressed, and the UN Security Council had set up its practice for a peacekeeping role since 1965, decided to meet again and discuss the volatile situation in Kashmir. Perception management over the year has become an important instrument of national security. Countries often use perception management as a tool to influence other states for the achievement of their objectives. The role of youth in conflict like Kashmir are growing up in the hyper-connected, globalized environment. The perception of Pakistani youth about Kashmir is firmly committed to the cause on humanitarian, legal, and political grounds. Youth leaders need to arrange programs in school and colleges for awareness about Kashmir issue. Pakistani expatriate community, particularly the youth, can play a significant role in sensitizing the international community about Kashmir. Youth should play their role to create awareness. To sum up, India's revocation of Kashmir status has moved the region to a predictable security threat. Domestic politics of India, Hindu nationalism, and desire for regional hegemony by India are the indirect factor, but has pushed South Asia to face spiral model. Thank you.